They say the mind is a battlefield. But what if I told you the military didn't just believe that? They tried to weaponize it, not with guns, not with propaganda, but with pure, unfiltered thought. In the early 1980s, while most people were busy watching E.T., eating microwave dinners and dancing to Michael Jackson, the US Army was quietly funding research into unlocking psychic abilities, remote viewing and even time travel, all through the power of the human brain. This wasn't some fringe group or sci-fi writers club. This was military intelligence, digging into meditation, brainwave frequencies, altered states of consciousness, and the idea that reality, as we know it, could be bent with enough mental focus. The goal, not just to understand consciousness, but to control it. And they weren't playing around. They commissioned actual scientists, ran classified tests, and buried the results for decades. You're watching Off the Map, where we dig into the strangest stories that got buried, forgotten, or straight up suppressed. And today, we're cracking open one of the most mind-bending files in CIA history. A blueprint for hacking reality itself, the gateway process. And today, we're unlocking the brain hack the US military tried to keep secret. In 1983, the US Army commissioned a study called the Gateway Process. Its goal? To hack the human brain. We're not talking about caffeine-fueled focus or productivity apps here. We're talking astral projection, time distortion, energy manipulation. Basically Jedi powers minus the lightsabers. And the wildest part? They said it worked. But before you run off to strap on a tinfoil helmet and start meditating into another dimension, let's dig into what this brain hack actually was. Because once you understand it, you won't see your mind the same way again. To kick things off, the Gateway Process wasn't invented by some YouTube wellness guru. It was developed by the Monroe Institute, a research group exploring altered states of consciousness using sound waves, specifically something called hemisync. The idea was simple in theory. Play slightly different frequencies into each ear, and your brain would synchronize them into one unified rhythm. The result? Supposedly, you could enter deep meditative states, detach from your body, and even gain insights from realms beyond time and space. You know, your typical Thursday. This caught the attention of US military intelligence. Why? Because if your enemies are building nukes, but you can remote view their locations without leaving your chair, that's not science fiction. That's strategic gold. So the Army hired an analyst named Wayne McDonnell to break it all down. What followed was a 28-page roller coaster of neuroscience, quantum physics, and a splash of esoteric mysticism that somehow passed as a military report. And just when you think, okay, it can't get weirder than that, you get to the part about the holographic universe. Yeah, McDonnell proposed that the universe isn't made of matter, but of energy patterns encoded in a vast hologram. Your consciousness? Just a fragment of that bigger picture. So by tuning your brain to certain frequencies, you could theoretically access that master hologram and unlock secrets hidden in space-time itself. Basically, your brain's not a hard drive. It's Wi-Fi for the universe. Now, if you're wondering whether any of this was taken seriously, here's the plot twist. The document was classified for decades, not because it was laughable, but because it might have worked. That's right. According to McDonnell, some test subjects experienced out-of-body states, heightened intuition, and perceptions beyond the five senses. One subject even claimed to witness events that hadn't happened yet. Is this where the Avengers got their time travel plan? Who knows? But it does make your 10-minute headspace meditation feel kinda underwhelming. Still with me? Good. Because if the first layer of the gateway process sounds nuts, the next is pure psychological dynamite. The method relied on more than sound waves. It involved controlled breathing, focused intention, and complex visualization exercises designed to reprogram the subconscious mind. Essentially, it was part meditation, part mental parkour. The goal? bypass your linear, logical thought processes and tap directly into the non-linear, intuitive part of your consciousness. You weren't just quieting your mind, you were weaponizing it. That brings us to one of the most bizarre parts of the document, the claim that time as we know it is an illusion. The gateway process suggests that in a deep enough altered state, you can access the absolute, a realm beyond space and time. Some participants described feeling like they were suspended in a cosmic void, receiving messages from higher intelligence, or even witnessing the beginning of the universe. And yes, it sounds like a deleted scene from Interstellar, but these accounts were detailed enough to make military brass go, okay, maybe don't leak this to the press. So why haven't we heard more about it? Because after initial enthusiasm, the program quietly vanished. McDonnell's final report ended with a note saying further research was urgently recommended. But then, nothing. Silence. The document was buried and most people forgot it ever existed, until it was declassified in 2003 and a few curious minds online stumbled onto it, blinking into their screens like they'd just found the Necronomicon in PDF form. Cue Reddit threads, TikToks and late-night rabbit holes. Now, let's pause for a reality check. Was the gateway process real? Yes. Was it proven beyond a doubt? Not exactly. Critics argue that the study lacked scientific rigor, that the claims were anecdotal, and that altered states of consciousness don't equal magic. Fair. But here's the kicker. Even modern neuroscience is starting to back up parts of it. Brainwave synchronization is a thing. Visualization can rewire neural pathways. And some researchers now believe consciousness might not be localized to the brain. So maybe the military was just 40 years ahead of the curve. And if that doesn't make your neurons tingle, let's throw one last curveball. The Monroe Institute, the original creators of the gateway process, still exists. They still teach these methods, and people still swear by them. CEOs, creatives, even former intelligence officers claim it changed their lives. Are they all delusional? Maybe. Or maybe, just maybe, there's something about the mind we still don't fully understand. Something powerful, something dangerous. So the next time you meditate, listen closely. Not just to your breath, but to what's behind the silence. Because who knows? That voice you hear might not be your own, or maybe it is, but from a version of you that's lived this life 1,000 times before. Either way, you're not just sitting still. You're tuning in to the frequency of the unknown. And if this blew your mind even half as much as it did mine, do the smart thing. Hit that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe so you don't miss the next forbidden story. And drop a comment below telling me whether you think this was genius science or a government-funded acid trip. Either way, stay curious, stay weird, and stay off the map.